Guys, let's talk about Stellantis. Now, if you didn't know, Stellantis opened up a EV car battery plant in Windsor around the south west of Ontario, and they were going to use minerals from the Ring of Fire up in the north of Ontario. And the provincial and federal government decided that what they needed to do was to give this company loads and loads of money because they're going to create jobs for Canadians, obviously. Many thousands of jobs.
We pitch international investors to come set up shops, set up factories, set up production facilities in Canada. And yes, it's great that we have access to natural resources and critical minerals, which is a big part of it. But the number one selling job is always Canadians themselves. Hardworking, willing to build a better future, willing to put innovation and creativity into everything they do. It is so exciting to be able to thank you so much for the work you've done over the past months, years, and indeed decades and generations when we talk about Windsor in demonstrating the outstanding quality.
But they're not. No, this is the biggest. This is going to be one of the biggest stories of 2023, 2024 coming up. This is going to explode in both the Ontario and the federal government's face. Taxpayer subsidised Stellantis battery plant potentially importing international workers. A handful of temporary workers, 1,600 apparently, a handful of temporary workers from South Korea have arrived in Windsor to staff up a new Stellantis electric vehicle battery manufacturing plant. According to officials with the Ontario government, raising concerns that massive taxpayer subsidies could be used to employ international auto workers and over Canadians. So rather than give the job to Canadians anywhere in Canada or let them come and work there, no, let's import some Koreans to come and work here, because you know what, they don't get paid as much. They talked about this on 640 today. I managed to pick it up on my way into work, so let's have a listen to this.
I find this scandalous, absolutely scandalous. First of all, we've talked about gobs of money, as you've well emphasized, and the main reason, certainly the main political reason for doing this at all, ever, frankly, I'm against corporate subsidies, period, corporate welfare, but the main reason is jobs, right? There's really no other good reason to do this. And if this is true, and of course I guess we'll have to see what happens, but it means they didn't put anything in the contracts, at least the way I'm thinking, that would guarantee these jobs would go to Canadians. And if they didn't, shame on them. I just find this outrageous. I found the whole notion of these immense subsidies outrageous in the first place.
The report went on to say, I think this is a historic deal. It's a great agreement and it protects the thousands of jobs, quite frankly, that were at stake. Economic Development Minister Vic Fedeli said, of the 2,500 people the company promised to employ. 2,500. You think 1,600 of them are going to be Korean? With the new LG Energy Solutions battery plant being built, we expect approximately 1,600 Koreans travelling to work and live in our community in 2024, the force said on a social media site. See, this is why the governments don't like people like us, and explaining exactly what the heck is happening in this country, because it's ridiculous. You can't. How many times have I said this? You can't make this up. A spokesman. This is billions of dollars that they're paying this company. Billions of dollars to secure Canadian jobs. That's what we thought. This isn't money out of Trudeau's back pocket or Doug Ford's back pocket. This is your money and my money. This is our tax-paying money going to secure Korean jobs. A spokesperson for the Federal Minister of Employment insisted the deal with Stellantis could create substantial jobs for Canadians and downplayed the number of international positions. Of course they did. Let's just finish off and listen to what she continued to say on 6:40 a.m. This is ridiculous. We've not heard the end of this, that's for sure. We've definitely not heard the end of this.
The whole thing is been look like a sucker's game from the get-go. But, you know, we've seen a lot lately about how incompetent our governments are. You know, they couldn't function during the pandemic. They couldn't get passports to people. They couldn't, you know, the Ontario government is supposedly conservative, but it's layering on the red tape and higher taxes and spending like Liberals or NDP. So they've all demonstrated their incompetence in so many ways. And here's another example with enormous amounts of our tax dollars at a time when, frankly, we don't have that much to throw around. The fundamental economics of these giant battery plants.
Right.
They say, oh, they'll pay back in 5 years. Oh, they'll pay back in 7 years, whatever. And the parliamentary budget officer, who does some pretty darn good work, has said it'll be 20 years for this one, 15 if they pay back at all, because we've seen the whole EV market take a dive lately, and the car companies losing gorps of money on their EVs and cutting back on their production and so on. I think this is going to be one of the biggest messes that's ever been created by government corporate welfare that we've ever seen. I hope not, but all the signs are there.